Hello, everyone. This is Ken from Keystroke, and today I want to welcome everyone as we start the relaunch of Linktivity. So, what is this? Linktivity, as you can see, is an entire suite of online products. I just have to remove this here. Entire suite of online products that we have spent the last several months really overhauling, adding features to improving and modernizing the UI. So we want to just go through them. We've got a 5-part webinar series starting today, and this is going to run from obviously today straight through to the first week of March as we cover the 5 different Linktivity products. So today, as everyone is aware that's in this meeting, we'll be covering Link2calendar. So what is Link2calendar? In short, it's Calendly for ACT users. That's probably the best way to explain it. Link2calendar is an online appointment scheduling service that publishes your calendar online based on the times you have free in your calendar, in your ACT calendar. So you're looking at the Linktivity page here. You can scroll down and read a little bit more about the different products and the different rates and such. And here's the Link2calendar. Okay, we've also got it on our keystroke page if you want to learn more about it as well. Okay. In short, Link2calendar modernizes the way that businesses interact with customers. Too often we're forced to play email ping pong with our customers, going back and forth with different meeting time proposals until one is finally agreed upon. Okay, this often leads to many missed opportunities with a lot of time getting wasted. This problem is so prevalent, it's given rise to services like Calendly, Appointlet, BookMe, Link2calendars, and many others. And the reasons are very simple. Like it saves time, it closes deals faster, and it just creates happier customers. It's for this reason that 3 years ago, and I'm just going to bear with me as I give you a brief rundown on the history of Link2calendar because it was the flagship product under Linktivity. 3 years ago, the CTO of ACT asked us to build an integration to Calendly. Okay, that's why I've been referencing it so much. The problem we saw though is that Calendly costs $9 to $12 per month per user. That's $108 to $144 a year per user, depending on the tier that you got. So we had a little trouble thinking that we can really add to that charge because obviously, we would have to charge for the integration. So we thought the simplest thing to do was to just build our own service from scratch that integrated directly with ACT through the API. And when I say integrated, I mean instantly interact with ACT's calendar. And we're going to show you today how fast that is. Okay. And all of that for half the cost of Calendly itself. Okay. As well as the other services out there. So let's see how that works. So the first thing is, when you get a link, you've got to surface it some way, and you can do that within, signatures, your email signatures, your social media, any number. I mean, we've got it on our website. So if you go to contact or about us, you can scroll down and you can see right here my profile. You've got right at the bottom, it says book a time with me. Pretty straightforward, and then a number of other people in our organization that got it as well. So when you click on book a time, the calendar pops up. Okay. Now, when you first load, okay, the calendar, it is doing a number of things. It's actually logging it, it's launching the API and connecting to your database. So this first step, and that's why we've got this little spinny wheel, the first step is what will, let me just see here. Okay, what obviously it's towards the end of the day, so there's not much available here, but it's going to log into the database. But even though it's going to take maybe 5-10 seconds, that's the longest delay you're going to experience, because once it's logged in, you're going to see that you can, oh, hold on. Maybe that was a bad example. You should be able to, I think I had that cached from maybe another thing here. Hold on. So I think this might be the first. Okay. So now it's showing you all the different ones. And now this is what I meant to show you, is that you can see that it's very quickly showing you the available on on the availability of whatever day you want here. Okay. So what we've done is we've kind of front loaded the initial delay so that your users, your people that are visiting your site and trying to pick an appointment won't be delayed from day to day, depending on what they select. Okay. Now, the first thing that you're going to notice when you log in, okay, is if you present the screen again, I'm just going to log back out here, is, okay, cancel this. And I'm actually going to go in. You're presented with a screen here that is saying, welcome to Linktivity. The current time zone is Eastern Standard Time. That's the time zone that I'm in. And this doesn't perform any kind of functional role other than to tell the people, especially in the global economy, if you are in a different time zone, this is a reminder here to go down and change the time zone to your time zone, that being the person that's visiting you, so that you're not booking a time that that works on your 9 o'clock, but not the users. Okay, so this is the one thing that we prompt people. Now, along here, we've got the mini monthly calendar that allows us to toggle forward, back and forth. Okay, and then you've got the time zone selector. Now the time slots, I'm going to show you how you can configure this later on in the back-end settings. But the time slots, this is actually a neater thing where it says, like, this is how your day is divided up. Okay, but what you can do is if you're looking for the next 60-minute availability, okay, well, there is none today. But tomorrow, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and if I go to the next day or the next Thursday or Friday, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I wanted to pick a 90-minute block, like let's say that I had a 90-minute meeting and I needed that person's next availability, then I can break up the day that way. So that's kind of a convenient way, and this is an option that you can either enable or disable for your users to choose from. But if you enable it, they'll be able to pick up to 3 times your preferred time increment. So be careful when, and I'll get into the settings later, but be careful when you're setting your time blocks, because if you then give them the option to multi-select, and you set, say, an hour time block, then you're basically giving them license to book 3 hours of your time. So just be mindful of that. Okay, you're going to notice the personalization at the top. Okay, this is totally customizable, as well as this image. Now, this image may seem a little bit small, but it's actually allows you a 800 by 150 pixel image. So if it's more of a horizontal image that you've got for your corporate logo and that, then that's going to fit in this a little nicer. Because this is a round image, it's going to be limited to the smallest, which is 150 pixels. So whatever image you've got, it's going to be limited to either the maximum width or the maximum height. Okay, so whatever is the smallest. Okay, so just be mindful of that when you pick that. And it doesn't matter if it's a larger image, Linktivity will auto size it down. And I'll show you later where you can overwrite this text with something that's a little bit more personalized as well. Okay, now, let's see, go here after. Okay, you can use this to advance, and then you could see the time zone with selectors. Okay, let's make sure I'm up here. Okay, so now you can see here you've got your toggles where you're advancing from month to month, but by default, when I've got my settings, when you log in, you've got the daily view. Okay, now the daily view I prefer, okay, because most people are going to have that set up where they're not looking across an entire week. But every industry is different. You'll have some service professionals that really need to show the weekly view, and you can do it this way. Now, want to easily demonstrate that whichever you pick, this is mobile responsive. So let me just show you how you can see that. If it's the weekly, it's going to stack like this, okay? But I like the daily in terms of mobile. So you can see how easily that that reformats, okay? Okay, so now we've got that. Let's look at, okay, we've got that, and we've this. I'll show you again how you can change your defaults, but let's actually get into setting an appointment. Okay, so I'm going to set a 30-minute appointment. I only have one slot available today. Okay, so I'm going to click on it because obviously publishing your availability and not allowing people to action on that is kind of pointless. So this will read your act calendar, and I have got my act calendar up, and I'll show you that. You can pivot over here. Okay, and this is reading right off the central database. Okay, so I'm just going to actually go to my daily calendar here. Okay, you can see this appointment for this webinar, and you can see the time slot available here. Okay, so what I've got, let's see here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here and I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to fill out Chris Huffman. I'm not going to put in a company name, but the email, name, and phone number and this information and that information are all mandatory fields. Now, we have an update that we're going to publish after the event that will indicate more clearly which are mandatory fields. I wasn't going to publish that just before the webinar because that would make my name Vic and it would tempt fate for everything to blow up. So I'm going to wait until after this webinar and then we'll update and you'll see that feature changes. Okay, so now I'm going to put in my phone number. I'm going to select the type of appointment. I'm going to show you later how you can pick that. So in this case, I have allowed people to choose either a call or a conference call. I'm going to put demo appointment and how to avoid being Vic. Okay, so now I'm just going to click on create and let's see what happens. Okay, so this is the confirmation page, which is great. So you can customize, as I'll show you later, the text that is in here. But most importantly, if you are, if one of your prospects, and you can hear that ding, that's the email confirmation that's coming in. I'll show you that in a second. If one of your prospects has just booked an appointment with you, it would be a bit of a pain to ask them to go to their calendar and book that. So what you can do is you can just click on here, and the visitor can then download the ICS file, and that will, hold on, come on. Okay, and it will pop up, and here's all the details. Okay, so you can see the time is 4:30 to 5. The location is the phone. Okay, I'm going to actually reference that particular location because there's a value in the back end that you've got to have because of this. Okay, and same thing with ken@kqc.ca. I'm going to show you why, where in the settings it's important to set that. Okay, but you can see the date. All of this is reflecting it. You can see the details in here, the emails, Linktivity, and the you know the whole subject line here. So now I'm going to click on accept. And now that, if I'm the person that I'm visiting, that is in my calendar. Okay, I've got the ability, this is my Act for Outlook popping up. Okay, I'm going to click on cancel since I don't need to add that to the calendar. So now let's go over here and let's click on refresh. And now we can instantly see this in our calendar. Okay, I can drill in here and I can see all the details. And if I go into the details, I can see how to avoid being Vic. Okay, so now that I've got that and you can see that it's pretty instant, let's go back to the calendar. I'm going to click on here and go back to the appointment. Now you can see I don't have any availabilities, okay, because I took the last availability. That's how fast it is. Now, you want to see how fast the API works in reverse? Let's go over here. Let's click on this. Oops, go back to calendar. I meant to clear that. Okay, I'm going to click here. And now I'm going to delete this appointment. Okay, so it's gone. Now let's go back to my schedule appointments. And that availability appears back there. Okay, so even if someone books an appointment with you and you have to cancel it, That's how quickly the availability gets in. That's the power of the API. It works that fast. Okay, where back and forth, back and forth. Whichever action you take, whether on the Linktivity side or on the calendar side, that's how quickly they communicate. Okay. Any other questions? Because this kind of wraps up the front end. I mean, the beauty of this kind of service is it is pretty straightforward. It's going to surface all of the availabilities that you've got. It's obviously not going to show anyone what you're busy with, but it's going to show people your availability, and it's going to allow them to book in at the earliest mutual convenient time. Okay.